Hi, today we're going to work with the pelvis and its relationship to the hip and knees. It's a mini lesson, so not an in-depth lesson, but what I'd like you to understand is, like, when we're in the embryo, the spine will begin, and then the hips build around the spine, protecting the bottom of the spine. And there's a keystone in the front and a keystone in the back. So the pelvis tends to move like this. So we can widen and compress in the back and also widen here. The keystone is just right on the pubic bone. So we're going to investigate that and do a pose, and afterwards I'll do some demonstration on the chair. So let's start on our backs. Oh, one thing. I wanted to show you what we're going to do, a pelvic clock. So this is the clock, okay? Now, on your own, you can go visit each number, but today we're just going to visit 12, 6, 3, and 9. And it's like so, okay? So 12 o'clock is on the top, 6 is on the bottom, 3 and 9. Okay, so we'll visit the 3 and then return to the center. So let's just start first. Windshield wiper, side to side, inviting the back of the pelvis to let go. We hold a lot of tension here, particularly if we sit at a computer. Okay? And so let all those bones just move. Invite them to loosen. We're going to lubricate. Okay? And then tap a few times. This is from Ruthie Alon's Bones for Life, building bone density in the pelvic region. So now we'll begin the pelvic clock. So push down in the middle and then visit 12 o'clock. So it's a slight roll to 12 o'clock. Push down on 12 o'clock. You use your feet, okay? And release, come back to the center. Let's push down to 12 o'clock again, but just imagine you're stretching towards 6. Okay, so 6 o'clock is not coming towards 12 o'clock. And go to the center. And once more, 12 o'clock, stretching towards 6. And back to the center. And now let's go to 3 o'clock. That would probably be on your right side. And back to the center. 3 o'clock. And stretch across to 9 o'clock. So don't let 9 o'clock creep in towards the center. Stretch across the back of the pelvis from 3, pressing down 3 to 9. And come back to the center. And once more to 3 o'clock, stretch over to 9. As you press down 3. And come back to the center. And just rest a moment. This feels really delicious when you go from 12 to 1 to 2 to 3, but we don't have enough time. This is a mini lesson, okay? So now from the center, press down 6 o'clock, the bottom of the clock, okay? And come back to the center. And let's press down 6 o'clock again, but stretch up towards 12. Lengthening, keeping the diameter of the clock big and round. And come back to the center. And press down 6 o'clock, stretch up to 12. And come back to the center. And let's go over to 9 o'clock. This will be probably on your left side. And back to the center. And 9 o'clock, stretch across the diameter of the clock to 3, keeping the roundness in the back of the stretching sideways. And come back to the center, and let's go to 9 o'clock. Stretch like a rubber band over to 3 o'clock, and come to the center, okay? And just kind of roll around the center of the clock. Okay, so now we're gonna drop the right knee, keeping the navel towards the ceiling, not exactly towards the ceiling, but not turning the navel, leaving the left knee up, and then come up, drop the left knee, come up, drop the right knee, come up, drop the left knee, come up, and drop the right. So we're moving the whole pelvis, not just the bone, not just the femur bone in the hip socket. So, okay, so the whole pelvic girdle is moving. And come on up, and then roll to your right side and come on up to seated position. Okay, and let's just roll from side to side. So you can move this right hip back and forth, up and down from here, and move this hip down. And then remember when you were little and you would walk forward on your buttocks and then back. Let's do that. So walk forward and walk back. Okay, and just open your legs for a minute and lift your left hip, lift your right hip. So my big toe on my right foot is coming down, big toe on the left foot coming down, this hip coming up. Okay. So the whole leg is moving, very organic movement. Knees can bend. Let's bend the knees and go from side to side. Okay, and then open. So imagine you're opening the keystone here on your pubis bone is moving sideways. Rather than think you're moving your knees down, expand the pubis bone. Okay, so let's go back to Dandasana, stick pose, and find the spine and find the energetic tube in front of the spine that goes from your perineum to the bottom of your pituitary gland, which is behind your third eye. Just find that long tube from the perineum up to the bottom of the pituitary. It's a bit in front of the spine. Okay? Okay. And if you have a blanket, now's the time to get it. Put it under your hips. If you don't have one, that's all right, but it's good to have. Okay, so let's just swish our feet and let the feet wiggle our hips. And now we're going to just let our left leg stay where it is, okay? And now start moving the right knee back and forth, okay? So we're not moving just the femur bone in the hip socket, but you can move the entire right side of the pelvis. Remember, the pelvis emerges in the embryo like this, okay? And bring that up a little more. And a little more. And finally, bring the right foot to the inside of the left upper groin, okay? And then again, you can kind of shift from one sit bone to the other. And now find the energetic tube that runs from the perineum to the bottom of the pituitary gland. Okay, lengthening the spine. Now, if your foot is out a little further, fine. And if you need a block under your knee, that's just fine too. Okay, and now we're going to bend forward, feeling that energetic channel that runs from the perineum to the base of the pituitary gland. Okay, so lengthen that tube and come up, and let's go down again. So this is Janu Sirsasana. Many times we grab the foot or hold a belt, but we're not being that aggressive today. You can feel some widening in the back of the pelvis here. Okay, as you lengthen the energetic channel, okay, and turn this out, okay? So you can stretch the keystone in the middle of your front pubis bone, okay? And lift the energetic channel. And then come upright. Find your energetic channel, and let's turn. Center, and just one more time, wiggle your fingers and lengthen that energetic channel, widen the back of the pelvis, and then come on up and move that right leg out, swish the feet, pump the knees a bit, and now we're going to leave the right leg right where it is and start moving this left knee back and forth, moving from the hip, okay? So I'm inviting this hip, the whole hip and pelvis to get involved with the movement, okay? And bring your foot up a little more. You can roll from side to side, anything to invite movement into the entire left hip and back of the pelvis. You can feel the back of your pelvis moving. Okay, and then finally bring your foot up. If you need a block to put under your knee, put it under your knee. And then let's find the energetic channel, the sushumna, that runs from the perineum to the base of the pituitary. Okay, lengthen. And then let's just come forward. So not cashewing, keeping that internal channel long. And come forward. Smile. So this is Janu Sirsasana, root word in Sanskrit for genuflect. Okay. And come on back. Keep the spine long, the energetics channel long, and kind of insect walk your hands forward, keeping the spine long. And come on back. And we're going to turn now. Find the energetic channel, turn and lift. And then come to the center. And let's go forward one more time. Okay. And let's cross the legs. And just stretch to the right, dropping the right hand, lengthening the spine, and to the left. Dropping the sits bone, come down, and let's switch. Okay, we'll do the same thing. Drop the right hand and lengthen, and drop the left hand and lengthen, lesson on the floor. I'm going to go and get the chair now for people who would like the option to doing the mini lesson on a chair. Okay. Okay, so the pelvic clock, we can still do that. If you have a block, you can put it behind your pelvis like so, okay? And press against that at 12 o'clock. And go back to the center. 12 o'clock, you'll feel your abs moving. And back to the center. And 12 o'clock. And back to the center. And let's go over to 3 o'clock. So the block isn't really wide enough, but I suppose if you have a pillow, you could put it back there, but you can't really. If I turn my block, that's the solution for 3 and 9. Okay, push at 3 o'clock, come back to the center, 3 o'clock, and let's go down, push 6 o'clock, come back to the center, 6 o'clock, back to the center, 9 o'clock, back to the center, 9 o'clock, back to the center. So you can do that. I think it's better to put the block this way behind you because you can reach 12, you can reach 6, you can reach 3 and 9. So you, on your own time, you can go through 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, after each number returning to the center. Okay? And let's just move the shins, you can roll from one side of the buttock to the other. And now, let's just move one buttock back, one forward. Keeping the spine upright. So right hip slides forward, left hip slides forward, right hip. Okay. And feel that you're moving from the back body, not just moving your knee, that it's being generated from the back of the pelvis, the movement. Okay, now come to the front of your chair and let's take this right knee out. So this is the pubis. The keystone is there, so you're just moving the keystone apart slightly, okay? And come back, and you can lift your foot off the floor, drop down, lift your foot off the floor. So we're just moving, opening the right door, stretching the front of the pubis a bit. And let's go to the left. You can lengthen the adductor here. And then, I don't know if everybody can do this, but I have my left buttock on the chair, my right buttock not on the chair. And I'm holding the back of the chair so I don't lose balance, and I'm just dropping that right knee down. Okay? So it is a nice stretch for the back of the right pelvis. And you can move the knee. And then slide up, and let's turn around and do, so my right buttock is on the chair, sliding back, I'm dropping my left knee. holding onto the chair so I don't lose balance, okay? And lengthening the back of the pelvis. The left side, okay? And then here you can start moving the knee. You can feel the movement in the pelvic girdle in the back here. And then come to the center. And you can cross your ankles, hold the bottom of the chair with your right hand, and stretch up. And then hold the bottom with your left hand, stretch over. Come back to the center, lift straight up, open up. And let's cross the other way. Hold the right side of the chair and stretch up. And left side of the chair. Stretch up. Come back to the center. And lift up. Okay, thank you for inviting me into your house on your computer. And I'll see you next video, which will be Thursday. So have a good couple days.